Hello, here I am, your friendly neighborhood Frankenstein nerd, as we say. I got a request to do a little summary of chapters 17 through 19, so I'm going to try and do that at a reasonable length of time. Chapter 17 is amazing. It is one of 3 times when Victor and the creature actually talk. The first time being the end of chapter 10. They confront each other on the glacier, and that is where Mary Shelley makes the joke, where Victor yells at the creature something like, go away, I don't want to look at you, I hate you. But it's like something about your detested form, and the creature goes, thus I relieve you. He like puts his hands over Victor's eyes, and that makes me laugh so much. Except for it's also kind of sad, but like, because you know what I mean? That's like his father, his God, saying that to him. But it's so funny to be like, nope. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. I wish the creature could make jokes. He is making a joke. Anyway. So chapter 17 is after the creature has had what I have seen the kids, as we say, refer to as a yap sesh. The creature's talked for literally 5 hours about all that has happened to him, all the bad things that have happened to him, and all the bad things that he's done, and all the good things he's done, and all the good things he's seen other people do. And so chapter 16 ends with the creature saying, my companion must be of the same species and have the same defects as him, right? He's like, I want a companion. My companion must be of the same species and have the same defects. This being you must create. So chapter 17 is them discussing whether or not that's a good idea. I'm not going to go line by line because that would be a lot. It's not, you know what I mean? It's no joke. The audiobook that I like has this chapter at about 13 minutes. So we're just not going to summarize the whole thing like that. But it's good. It's great because, like, Victor's thought, the creature's like, you have to do this for me. You can't refuse. Like, you owe it to me to try and make me happy. You owe it to me. You made me look like this, and everybody hates me. You owe me. You can't refuse me. And Victor's first thought is like, no, I'm not going to do it. And you're like, thank you, Victor. Please don't do this. Like, it's not a good idea for him to do this at all. And we can get into why, but we're not going to right now. And the creature, I love the creature because he says, you are in the wrong, and instead of threatening, I'm content to reason with you. Like, he doesn't want to strong-arm him into making this companion. He's just like, you have to understand where I'm coming from. I am malicious because I am miserable. Am I not shamed and hated by all mankind? He's like, I am alone in the whole world. Nobody will talk to me. And Frankenstein is great because it gets into like what I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, what does it mean to be human? The creature is made of human parts, mostly. Victor just say that he uses animal parts as well. So the creature is like mostly human, but a little bit not, and then brought into life by means that are decidedly not human-like. But then he understands things the way a human does. He longs for community the way a human does. He can make himself understood the way a human can. Like, he's human-like. The creature's like, even you hate me. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't be alone. I can't have any friends. Like, you have to help me. Right? And this is where we get, this chapter 17 is where we get this line that often gets kind of, they changed it in the 1994 movie. And people often attribute the way the quote appears in the 94 movie to Mary Shelley herself. But the actual quote is, if I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. If I cannot inspire love, I will indulge in rage. Mine is infinite, is the 2025 one. And then in 94, he says something about, if I cannot satisfy the one, I will indulge the other. It's great. But the actual quote from the book is, if I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. So that's where we get that quote. And this is where we get also, chapter 17 is where we get what the creature really wants, right? If any being felt emotions of benevolence toward me, I should return them 100 and 100-fold. For that one creature's sake, I would make peace with the whole kind. Like, he hates mankind at this point, because every time he's done something good for somebody, it ends up horrible for him. And every time he's like been a baby around another human being, they've like thrown pitchforks at him. Like, he hates mankind. And he's kind of like, what reason do I have not to? Like, mankind hates me. What am I supposed to do? And he's like, but I also need a friend. I need somebody. So Victor and the creature kind of go back and forth a bunch of times. And the creature eventually promises, if you make me a companion, I will quit the realms of mankind forever. I will go to the remotest region in the world, and my companion and I will live there. Our lives will not be happy, but they will be free of the misery I now feel. Like, we'll be okay. Oh, I love this. He says, I swear to you by the earth which I inhabit, and by you that made me, that with the companion you bestow, I will quit the neighborhood of man and dwell, as it may chance, in the most savage of places. I love that he swears by Victor, like in the same way that we swear by God, he swears by Victor. I love that. I just caught that on like one of my most recent rereads, and I was like, love it. And this is where we get, I've talked about this in a previous video as well. This is where, like a month ago, I was listening at 2 a.m, and I finally heard for once this quote that made me finally start to kind of change how I feel about Victor, which is, his words had a strange effect upon me. I compassionated him and sometimes felt a wish to console him. He says this, by the way, of the being who, his baby brother. I compassionated him and sometimes felt a wish to console him. But when I looked upon him, when I saw the filthy mass that moved and talked, my heart sickened and my feelings were altered to those of horror and hatred. I tried to stifle these sensations. Again, he says of the guy who hurt his brother. I tried to stifle these sensations of horror and hatred. I thought that as I could not sympathize with him, I had no right to withhold from him the small portion of happiness which it was yet in my power to bestow. He's like, I can't not hate him. I am his creator, and I look at him and I just freak out. I can't even sympathize with him. How can I, his creator, not try to make him happy? And at some other point, Victor says something about, like, I ought to try to render him happy before I complained of his wickedness. Like, Victor, for a lot of this book, treats the creature very, very terribly. But in this moment, he's really looking at him going like, oh, you're super scary, but like, you're really sad. God, you're so sad. And like, what do I do? So Victor gets pulled into this. He's like, if you swear to leave the neighborhood of man, then he eventually agrees at the end of chapter 17 or towards the end of chapter 17 to build the companion. This is a long video. Okay, Victor agrees to make the companion. I consent to your demand on your solemn oath to quit Europe forever and every other place in the neighborhood of man as soon as I shall deliver into your hands a female who will accompany you in your exile. Which, by the way, I get like ice down my spine at that, because they're like making this arrangement for this female being who doesn't even exist yet and can't consent to this exile. And she will be miserable, and she will be like stuck in this situation that she didn't ask to be. And Victor now knows what that's going to be. And so does the creature. They both know what they're condemning her to, and they're both going to do it anyway. I swear by the sun and the blue sky of heaven and by the fire of love that burns in my heart that if you grant my prayer while they exist, you shall never behold me again. Depart to your home and commence your labors. I shall watch their progress with unutterable anxiety, and fear not but that when you are ready, I shall appear. Saying this, he suddenly quitted me, fearful perhaps of any change in my sentiments. That's Victor agreeing to make the companion, and the creature saying, okay, I'm gonna go. And he runs away. At the very, very end, Victor he hikes back down the glacier and goes back to the town of Chamonix. This is an interesting difference between the 1831 and the 1818 that nobody talks about, is that in 1818, the whole family goes together to Chamonix. So when Victor comes back down, he's like, hey guys, like back at the hotel that they're staying at. But in this one, Victor has gotten to Chamonix by means of like a casual 40-mile nature walk that he does, because that's what he does when he's like stressed and he just goes for walks. But in this case, he literally hikes 40 miles to Chamonix and then like another probably like 3 up the glacier. He's a nut. Takes no rest at Chamonix, goes all the way back to Geneva, and everybody's like, Victor, oh my God, where have you been? You've been gone for like 3 days. And he's like, I know, I'm sorry. Here I am though. That's the end. That's chapter 17, which I said I wasn't going to go line by line, but I'm a liar. Because I just love to talk about Frankenstein.